Imagine stepping off a plane in a bustling airport, your pockets empty, your heart racing, and the humid air hitting you like a wave. You have no plan, no friends, no money, just a wild dream to start over in the Philippines. What happens next could break you or remake you. Stick around, because this is my story of hitting rock bottom in a foreign land and clawing my way back up, one act of kindness and one odd job at a time. It all started back home, where life felt like a dead end. I was in my 30s, stuck in a job that drained my soul, buried in debt from bad choices, and dreaming of beaches and fresh starts. The Philippines called to me after I saw pictures online. Crystal waters, friendly faces, and a cost of living that seemed like a steal compared to the grind I knew. But dreams don't pay bills, and when I finally bought that one-way ticket, I had sold everything I owned just to afford it. Jewelry, clothes, even my old guitar, gone. I landed in Manila with exactly 0 pesos, thinking somehow I'd figure it out. The airport was chaos, crowds rushing, vendors shouting, taxis honking. I sat on a bench, staring at my empty wallet, panic rising. How do you eat? Where do you sleep? I almost turned around and begged for a flight back. But then a security guard noticed me. He was an older guy, kind eyes, uniform crisp. He asked why I looked lost, and I spilled it all. No money, no place. Instead of brushing me off, he smiled and said, "Filipinos always find a way." He called a friend who ran a tiny hostel nearby and vouched for me. That night, I crashed on a thin mat in a shared room, no charge, just a promise to pay it forward someday. It was my first taste of bayanihan, that spirit of community help that would save me over and over. Morning came and hunger hit hard. I wandered the streets, the smell of street food teasing me, skewers of pork barbecue sizzling, fresh lumpia wraps steaming. But with no cash, I had to get creative. I spotted a small carinderia, a local eatery, and offered to sweep floors or wash dishes for a meal. The owner, a tough grandma type, eyed me suspiciously at first, but then nodded. 30 minutes of scrubbing later, I had a plate of rice, adobo chicken, and veggies. It was simple, salty, and the best thing I'd ever tasted. That became my routine, barter labor for basics. I carried boxes at markets, helped vendors set up stalls, even painted signs for shops. Manila's energy was overwhelming. Jeepneys packed with people, markets bursting with cheap fruits like mangoes for pennies, but also the heat, the traffic, the constant hustle. I slept where I could, sometimes on park benches, once under a bridge during a rainstorm that soaked me through. Pride was my biggest enemy. Back home, I never asked for help, but here, swallowing it meant survival. After a week, I knew I couldn't stay in the city long term. Too expensive, even on nothing. Rents started at 5,000 pesos a month for a tiny room, and food added up if you weren't smart. So I hitched a ride south to Cebu, hearing it was cheaper and more laid back. A truck driver heading that way let me tag along after I helped load his cargo. The ferry ride across was free because I scrubbed decks for the crew. Cebu welcomed me with its beaches and hills, but I aimed for a fishing village outside the city, where life slowed down. A local family took me in after I fixed their leaky roof. Mom, Dad, 3 kids, all crammed in a bamboo hut. They had little themselves, but shared everything. Fresh fish caught at dawn, rice from their small plot, coconut water straight from the tree. In return, I joined the dad on fishing trips, mending nets under the stars, learning to cast lines as the sun rose pink over the sea. Those early mornings were magic. Waves lapping, birds calling, the world feeling new. But challenges piled up. Typhoons hit hard, flooding our hut and ruining crops. I got sick once from bad water, feverish for days. But neighbors brought herbal teas and soups. Loneliness crept in too. Missing family calls, no Wi-Fi to connect. And scams lurked. Once, a guy promised a job but vanished with my borrowed tools. Yet, the kindness outweighed it all. A tricycle driver gave me free rides when it poured, saying, "Just help someone else later." Kids taught me Tagalog phrases over games of basketball on dirt courts. I started tutoring English to village children, using my native skills. Parents paid what they could, 50 pesos a session, or sometimes just eggs and bread. It added up. Soon, I earned enough to rent a small shack for 2,000 pesos a month, with a fan and a stove. I bought a second-hand bike for 1,000 pesos, pedaling to nearby towns for more work. Life shifted from surviving to building. I learned to cook local dishes like sinigang soup and kinilaw fish, buying ingredients cheap at palenques, markets where veggies cost next to nothing. I planted a tiny garden. Tomatoes, eggplant, herbs. Odd jobs evolved. I fixed bikes for neighbors, helped with harvests, even guided a few tourists who wandered in, sharing stories for tips. One expat I met, an older guy from the States, hooked me up with online gigs. With spotty internet at a cafe, I did data entry and virtual assisting, pulling in 10,000 pesos a month. It wasn't riches, but in the Philippines, that stretched far. Utilities under 1,000, food 5,000 if frugal. No more hunger pangs, no more begging. I paid back that hostel owner with interest, sent money to the guard's family. Friends became family. We celebrated fiestas with lechon pig roasts, dancing in the streets, karaoke till dawn. I fell in love too, with a local teacher who saw past my broke start. We built a life together, simple but full. Looking back, arriving with nothing stripped me bare but revealed strengths I never knew. Humility opened doors pride would have slammed. Community isn't just nice, it's survival fuel. In the Philippines, people share because they've been there, scraping by on low wages but high spirits. I learned to live light, walk or jeepney instead of taxis, eat home-cooked over fast food, save first like the 50-20-30 rule, half for needs, a bit for wants, rest tucked away. No fancy gadgets, just real connections. Today, years in, I run a small homestay for budget travelers, teaching them the ropes I learned. My shack's now a home with solar lights and a porch overlooking the sea. I swim daily, lose weight from fresh eats, feel alive. If you're dreaming of a reset but scared of the leap, remember, rock bottom here isn't as deep thanks to the hands that lift you. I survived because I adapted, worked hard, and trusted the goodness in strangers. You could too. The Philippines didn't just save me, it showed me how to thrive.